Hello everybody, this is Jim once again from International Camera Technicians. This is my little FE2. We pulled the front out, we pulled the top. There should be separate videos on them. Watch them before you get to this point. You don't have to unsolder every wire in the world on this FE2. A lot of them still say connected. You can pull the front out. So here we are. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the shutter out. We're going to clean the shutter. We're going to replace that really disgusting seal on the top. Yeah, did I throw the rest of it? Yeah, away. And then we're going to put it back together. We're going to clean the magnet and make sure everything works. And so let's get going. So these, you have a brass screw over here. And then you have a big conical screw. Don't know why they did that, but you pretty much see that. There's probably a reason, and I don't know why. Go ahead and pop the back, pull it back open. One screw right here at the base. It's a long screw, and it can be tight. Pull that one out, see? All right. So we'll pull the shutter back. Sometimes it's stuck with glue, so you got to get in there and break the glue. There's a little felt piece on this side for a light trap. And just slowly, oh, come on. There you go. Working on up and out. So I'll end up cleaning all this stuff, get a new seal, get it ready for a new seal. And take this out of the way. We got our shutter. Let's throw this junk away. It does get junk all over my fingers too. Ick. All right. So just real quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and get any of this off. It's not as much as there normally is. Just do it this way instead. That here. Okay, got some acetone in there. Maybe we can handle this shutter without getting too much of this stuff all over my fingers. Okie dokie. So, what do is go ahead and pull each blade out, clean the blades, put it back together. All right. So we have this nice clean tissue. I do that. I'm trying not to get this all incredibly dirty, but it's sometimes very difficult. So take this apart. We got two screws, one here and one there. Note the one on top does have the circuit board attached. Okay. This comes up, slotted. Lift up, push it forward. Okay. How things like to be stuck together on these, big blob of glue right there. So we'll probably get some of that, clean that off. Once again, slotted. This one's already popped at the top. Okay, here's where it gets tricky, especially if you've taken it apart the shutter charged. Okay, so this one isn't. Okay, that plate comes off. There's a helper spring right here. This guy's just laying in there. So if this blade was down in the charged position right here, yeah, won't come down yet. But if it was down, this spring would be under a lot of tension. As soon as you take this plate off, that spring will go flying on you. So try to do it, and I believe this is a release position. Yep, release position. So try to take that apart, this part in the release position. There's a bumper up here in the top. Take that out. Okay, let's take my spring out before I catch it on something that goes flying. Okay, spring. Take this little plate off here. Go on two ways, that way or this way. I have the matte side down. Not such a big deal on these cameras, on this particular shutter. Blade out, looks in good shape. Okay, see spacer at the bottom. Take the spacer out. Notice no spacer on the top. Spacer only on the bottom. It's fairly thin spacer too. All right, next plate kind of gets caught up here. There's a little bumper up here as well. Take this guy out. And this one has two. I'm not sure what the deal with two of them are, but all have two. So this one would come off, and then that one, I always know that guy goes down first, so it doesn't really matter to me. All right, notice spring here to here under tension. Yep. Notice spacer on the top. Okay, so now why this spacer is here and there's no spacer down here is that when this is in charged position, or in this position, when this blade's up, all these layer of blades, and you see them, there's a bunch of blades, they're all stacked blades, they're stacked on top of one another. This spacer is specifically designed to give them space. Makes sense, right? So it gives them, so it doesn't pinch them up at the top here and allow the blade to move slowly. So that spacer is very critical here, and then on the second blade it'll go down to the bottom. All right, so what I tend to do on these, since I know that's under tension, pop the top, put that out, and just rotate it this direction here until you unhook the spring. This spring goes inside. Now the bottom one, when you put it on, and I took it off, I'll show it when it goes on. It is so tempting to try and put it through that little hole there, the helper spring. No, does not work. Let's go ahead and get this helper spring out of the way. It's not, you can't get them confused. One's got two hooks on it, hook, hook. This one's only got one hook, and then just a straight. All right, so pretty much this was a beautiful looking shutter. Didn't look like it had any dirt on it. Looked like it was all ready to go. Most people would have just let us go, but I'll start to clean it. That is something that wasn't ready to go. A lot of it's oxidized paint. There's a lot of grease down here though. Grease on these pivots slow the blades down. Make them erratic, do all kinds of stuff. So I like to clean this area very, very thoroughly. Okay, so for me that's clean. Let's set it aside. Now this is my top blade, which will go in first. So when I clean this, I don't see a ton of grease all over the blade. I'm not worried too much about that, but I'm looking at the pivot points. So I'll go over the pivot points, flip it over, get the pivot points. Now, if you really look at the Q-tip, there's quite a bit of stuff on it already. So, even though they look like they're beautiful, ready to go, nope. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is, since I got that one cleaned, take my spring, put my spring back in, upper post, put this guy in. It's gonna go through that small hole. Bring it out here till I see it drop in, rotate it in, drop both into the right position. Man, it would have helped if I had this guy in first too. It's no big deal. Push it under. Don't do it this way. If you put it in first, it's so much easier. So, I just want to make sure that I got it on the right side. Yep. Okay, so yeah, put it in backwards. Should have had that plate in first, then the blade. All right, so I'll put that aside for now. Put my spacer on the top, so I remember it's there. Go ahead, get the pivots on this one. This is, I used acetone on the first one, but I'm using denatured alcohol on the second one. I don't think acetone was really needed. And I get too much acetone on this mat and it'll just melt this mat. So I swapped over to alcohol. This is denatured alcohol. not drinkable. I need to get more. Okay, that guy will be ready to go in. Okay, so I always inspect these plates. Let's see if there's any crud on them, grease. It's just a touch right over here. And that one I'm going to get some acetone for. Okay, down by the pivots. Oh, that's not pivots. Go ahead. The first one on. The second one, I'm looking for the same stuff. Anything that looks like is out of place should be there. Little bit of stuff up here. Generally, it's a pretty clean shutter. Pivots were the worst spot. It's usually where you see most of the junk come off. Get the blades out of the way and get where they pivot. Okay. Alrighty then. Got that in there. Go ahead and get our next blade in. This one you want to fan out. Comes across. Drop there. Right in, drop there. Spacer on the bottom. Okay, this one was pretty clean too. Up in place. Okay, now don't forget the two things, the bumper, which is here. This side has a groove in it. It's where the blade's been hitting. Sometimes they wear a groove in there. So I like to come where it's going to get hit. Now there's no groove. So it's for the shutter, it's a new side. Put that in there. Get my helper spring. Said the helper spring. Helper spring on. Do not try to get it in that second hole. Top one, yes. Bottom one, no. I don't think it doesn't even reach, but so that just pulls around. That's exactly how things should look. Put the post into the hole, slide it along where the groove is. And when everything, the screw holes align, make sure your helper spring is still in there, especially that upper, it's still latched, and nothing fell out. I'm looking for this bumper, it likes to fall out on you. Next one goes in. Okay, at this point, you put one of the screws in. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do my last screw here. Nice. And one thing I like to do is I like to get this plastic back off here. Mainly because when I melt it, I don't like smelling plastic. And then when I put some solder flux on here, these will go back looking nice instead of looking like someone just chunked them together using old solder. All right, so I want to get the magnet now. The magnet is stuck down inside there. I don't know if you can see it, hoping you can see it. All right, and the armature is here. Hope you can see that. So to do that, I just want to go ahead and unhook this spring on the top here. This is your self-timer spring. And unhook it on the bottom. The bottom hooks right under here. Let's see where I unhooked that at. Underneath. Okay, the spring's going to go in this direction with that hook down. It goes in like that. Okay, like that. All right. Common problem with FE2s, dirty magnets. And also with the FE. The FE has the same issues. They get dirty. You get erratic speeds. Sometimes the mirror will go up because the shutter just released and it didn't run a speed. So these need to be cleaned. So break off a small piece of Q-tip. Usually roll it up fairly tight. Squeeze it in there so you get some sticking out this side. This side, I put it in acetone. Clean all the junk off it. And you only want to touch the top of the magnet. You don't want to get the base where the plastic is. Okay, do that. And then across here, needs to be fully, perfectly clean. So that's what you do on that. And take another piece here. Finish it up. I'm just actually going to use a little alcohol on this guy here. Okay. Nice and clean and shiny. And I know that has some junk on this thing. This looks dirtier than it was. Okay, go ahead and put spring back on, and basically we'll test this shutter. It should be just fine. But I still haven't charged it. I give you a word of caution on charging a shutter that's out. Okay, so there's your charging lever right here for this shutter. Charge it. Oops, a little further. Release. And that one up there. So what you want to do, you want to be careful. If I held that, if this was out of the way, so these are your mechanical speeds with this lever here. So if this was like running a mechanical speed, it would just release. And you see the lever right here coming up. That's actually blocking the armature against the magnet. I mean, electronically, there's no electronics going to it at all, obviously. But these levers are blocking the pallet coming out and releasing the second curtain. So once that goes over, it lifts them up, boom, shutter releases. So when this is out and we have a regular shutter and that's out, the magnet's holding it. As soon as I release the magnet, boom, releases. So the shutter's in good shape. Now, some of these shutters, you can overcharge the shutter when it's out. And that is just like charging it and just keep going and going and going. This lever here can overspin. If it does, then the latch will fall in an incorrect position and it'll jam up on you. It'll be a pain in the butt. So don't overcharge the shutter while it's out. So just going to go down, pull all this junk out. Alrighty, so what we do, drop the shutter in, and I'll wiggle it a little bit, let it drop into place. Voila, should go in, should be tight, should have a wobble in it. Brass screw up the top corner, conical one right above the shutter mechanism. Tighten, tighten. Being tightened, do not tighten too much. And the last screw, open the back door. Put it in here. Tighten that up. All right, ship it back in. Pull that out of the way. Charge the shutter. Release shutter. So that's the lever down there that I'm moving aside and making charge. And charge it all day long. Boom. All right. And once the mirror charges, it allows it to lock in. All right, that's it. I'll go ahead and put the wire back in. Put the new seal in, which I don't have handy right now. You don't need to see me cut a seal for it. I'll cut that probably about 2mm seal. Put it about the same width from this edge to about that edge right there. Run it all the way back to here. That should stop light from going down there because your eyepiece is right here. Light comes in your eyepiece. You don't want it going down the shutter and getting your light leak. All right, thank you. Hey, we'll appreciate it if you subscribe. Thank you for watching, and look forward to making my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.